Namaste and welcome. I'm Ally Boothroyd, yoga and Yoga Nidra enthusiast and educator and founder of the Transformational Sleep Yoga Nidra teacher training, where we've helped hundreds of our students around the world make a peaceful impact in their communities. In this video, I want to walk you through 7 major health conditions and challenges that I've seen Yoga Nidra truly help with, backed by real stories from our community and peer-reviewed scientific research and some newer scientific studies that are emerging. So whether you're here from the free 5-day deep rest immersion or the online Yoga Nidra teacher training, or you just found this video through your own research or inquiry, I hope this gives you a deeper understanding of how Yoga Nidra can meet you where you are and potentially help you along your healing journey, whatever challenges or conditions that you may be facing. The first one I want to talk about is long COVID and post-viral fatigue. Many people recovering from long COVID describe overwhelming fatigue, brain fog, disrupted sleep, and nervous system dysregulation. The fatigue, breathlessness, and neurological symptoms can be incredibly challenging, and Yoga Nidra can help by guiding the body into a parasympathetic state, allowing for cellular repair and nervous system recalibration. In fact, a study published in the International Journal of Yoga found that Yoga Nidra practices improved symptoms of fatigue and restored autonomic balance in post-viral recovery cases. And another study published in Integrative Medicine Case Reports in 2022 explored how 20-minute Yoga Nidra sessions helped reduce tachycardia and oxygen dependency in a young post-COVID pneumonia patient without any physical movement or breath work. The results were so promising that the authors called for a larger pilot study to further explore this potential. I personally know firsthand the role Yoga Nidra can play in supporting those recovering from long COVID because it's one of the most common reflections I receive on my channel. And over the past few years, thousands of people have reached out to share how this practice became a part of their healing journey. And I'd love to share one such reflection from a member in our community. And this person says, I had long COVID for 2.5 years. I was mostly housebound during that time and occasionally couchbound. I had fatigue, heart palpitations, and cognitive dysfunction, insomnia, trouble walking, temperature dysregulation, etc. Your Yoga Nidra channel was part of my program of re-regulating my nervous system. I will always appreciate the role you played in my recovery. Thank you. Isn't that amazing? Stories like this are what keep me showing up to share these practices, and they're a reminder of how powerful deep rest can be, especially when it's offered gently, consistently, and with care. Next is one that has truly transformed my own life, which is panic attacks and asthma. And the reason I'm pairing these two together is because of my own lived experience as someone who suffered from both panic attacks and from asthma from a very young age. And I know how important nervous system regulation is because when a panic attack is spiraling out of control, hyperventilating can lead to an asthma attack for those of us who suffer from this condition. Panic attacks can feel like being trapped in a body that's spiraling out of control. And for some people like me, this triggers asthmatic symptoms, which is something that I've experienced since I was 11 years old. Many times I've landed in the hospital on so many occasions because a panic attack got so bad that I couldn't breathe and I had to be admitted and put on an oxygen machine. So this is really scary as a young person to lose control of your body in that way, and it can spiral into anxiety over when is the next panic attack going to come, and am I going to be okay? Am I going to be safe? Is this going to threaten my life? So how has Yoga Nidra helped me over the years? Well, it can help bring the body out of sympathetic arousal and into parasympathetic rest. A study in immediate effects of Yoga Nidra on heart rate variability found that Yoga Nidra increased parasympathetic activity far more than simple supine rest. And this suggests that the practice is deeply calming on a physiological level, which is something that many of us know and can feel. Practicing Yoga Nidra allows the body to shift out of acute sympathetic arousal, the flight or fight response, and into parasympathetic state of rest and digest response, which is essential when trying to stabilize the breath and the heart rate. Some of you might be familiar with iRest, which is a research-based form of Yoga Nidra founded by one of my teachers, Richard Miller, and their methods have been used in VA hospitals and trauma centers to help manage panic, anxiety, and autonomic reactivity. These tools are gentle, non-invasive, and incredibly effective. And the Integrative Restoration Institute has played such a big role in my healing journey from panic attacks, which I have been free from for over a decade now. And I'm incredibly grateful for the research and resources that they are sharing in the world. And this reflection will probably bring tears to my eyes, but I'm going to try to read it anyway. I began my practice in April to remedy daily panic attacks and insomnia from past trauma. I was isolated and depressed. I became sober and focused on meditation, gratitude, Yoga Nidra, exercise, and self-hypnosis for my healing. Today, I am 40 pounds lighter, engaged to be married, and free of panic attacks. I'm sleeping regularly. I have rewired my brain through your help. I can't believe sometimes the transformation my life has taken. Thank you for showing me a practice that I will keep forever. That's so beautiful. It's so powerful. Next, I'd like to talk about something that is super interlinked with panic attacks, which is anxiety. Anxiety is one of the most common challenges that people bring to the practice. And I've heard thousands and thousands of reflections about how the combination of guided awareness, body scanning, and intentional breath allows the nervous system to discharge excess energy and find safety. Clinical studies have shown that regular Yoga Nidra significantly reduces anxiety and promotes a sense of grounded presence by lowering cortisol, activating the vagus nerve, and improving heart rate variability. And this is one that I hear stories about every day on my channel, so I want to share one of these reflections as well around heart rate variability. This person says, "I'm obsessed. Your Yoga Nidra recordings have been the single most effective thing I have done to improve my heart rate variability. I cannot say enough good things about what it has done to calm my nervous system and also improve my sleep. I wear an Oura ring and my heart rate lowers 10 to 15 beats per minute and my heart rate variability rises 10 times during Yoga Nidra. It's absolutely amazing to be able to see in real time what it's doing to help. Thank you, thank you, thank you." I get so many of these from people that have these little devices like Oura rings or Fitbits or things like that, that they're seeing in real time the effects of Yoga Nidra on their health and on their lives. Let me know in the comments below if you have a story like that to share as well. As a neurobiologist, Dr. Andrew Huberman often discusses on his podcast, practices like Yoga Nidra are powerful tools for regulating our inner state and building emotional resilience. In a randomized control trial with frontline healthcare workers during the COVID pandemic, Yoga Nidra was found to significantly reduce anxiety, depression, and insomnia when compared to a control group practicing supine rest. The researchers used validated measures like PHQ-9 and GAD-7, and the difference in outcomes was statistically significant, showing just how effective Yoga Nidra can be as a mind-body intervention. I'd love to read a couple of powerful quotes from people in our community around this one. "I tried every anti-anxiety medication available, but they all had undesirable side effects. My acupuncturist told me about Yoga Nidra. I found your channel and committed to a daily practice. Within a few months, I'd realized I'd not had any panic attacks and felt more regulated overall. Thank you so much. Life-changing. That's powerful. This person says, I tried Yoga Nidra because I had daily panic attacks. Fortunately, it worked. I didn't have any panic attacks for 1 year. I practice every morning after breakfast. This is very similar to my own story of having frequent panic attacks and then having a huge life-changing shift to not have to deal with that anymore. It's quite debilitating when you're constantly having panic attacks and having to manage that regularly. Okay, next is a big one and so important to highlight, so I want to discuss post-traumatic stress disorder and trauma recovery. For those of us healing from trauma, which is a lot of us, Yoga Nidra offers something truly profound, a non-triggering space to rest, rebuild safety, and gently return to the body. It can down-regulate the amygdala and even reduce gray matter in the amygdala, which is sometimes referred to as the guard dog of our brain. It's part of the limbic system. It can also reduce fear-based signaling in the brain. This is where iRest really has focused a lot of their research and attention, and their Yoga Nidra protocols have been researched by the US Army Surgeon General's office and have shown statistically significant improvements in symptoms of PTSD, anxiety, sleep disturbance, and depression. Their results have been so successful that the protocol is now used in over 100 veteran hospitals and military bases worldwide, which is absolutely incredible and shows the power of this practice. Yoga Nidra allows the practitioner to approach trauma indirectly, creating a safe buffer between awareness and intense memory, and over time this builds capacity for integration and healing. One study published in PubMed followed combat veterans over an 8-week Yoga Nidra program, and participants reported reduction in anxiety, rage, and emotional reactivity, alongside an increase in peace, self-awareness, and relaxation. I will link to all these studies in the description below, but I wanted to share a couple of really powerful reflections from people in our community that are moving from post-traumatic stress into post-traumatic growth. Okay, these are powerful. This person shared, I found your channel when I was diagnosed with PTSD 3 to 4 years ago, and it has helped me in my recovery immensely. I was continually in fight or flight mode, having terrible nightmares, and felt so isolated. I used that time for intense self-development and healing by practicing 3 times a day. It helped me through the darkest times. I recommend your channel to everyone I know. And this person shared, without entering into details, I'll just say that the deep rest lowers dramatically sensitivity to triggers, irritability, and oversensitivity to outer noises from the world. And then I love this one. This person says, I could write a whole essay about this. One of the symptoms of PTSD is intrusion. And I'm using this as a broad term to include flashbacks, intrusive thoughts, hypervigilant thoughts, disturbing thoughts, etc. I have found that the attentional exercises in Yoga Nidra, including body scans and visual imagery, keep the mind just active enough that these intrusive experiences don't arrive, but still passive enough that the mind can rest. Wow, these are so powerful. I just want to take a moment to thank all of the people in our community that share so openly and so vulnerably, which allows us to feel a sense of support and solidarity that we're not alone. We're not alone in these struggles. Next, I want to talk about chronic fatigue, because I hear from people who are managing this every single day, multiple times a day, and this condition is immensely difficult to manage. It exhausts the body physically, mentally, and emotionally, and many people with chronic fatigue describe never feeling truly rested, even after sleep. So when you're chronically tired, sometimes even sleep isn't enough. Yoga Nidra is another way to access delta brainwave states, the same deep rest states that we reach in the deepest stages of sleep. We'll talk more about this in another video lesson soon, but practicing Yoga Nidra can help restore this lost deep rest. And a study by the Indian Journal of Yoga in 2020 showed Yoga Nidra reduced cortisol levels by up to 60%, helping to reverse the effects of stress on the body and improve subjective energy levels, which is huge. This kind of rest supports the adrenals, balances the HPA axis, and allows the body to heal from burnout. I'd love to share another reflection from our global community on YouTube. And this person shares, I've had chronic fatigue syndrome for several years, and it has been compounded by long COVID. I'm in a wonderful program designed specifically for recovery from these illnesses. And in this program, I learned about Yoga Nidra, and specifically someone recommended you. I had no idea how much my nervous system needed calming. When I do one of your sessions, my Aura ring thinks I'm asleep. I know I don't actually go to sleep because I can recall every word. I use Yoga Nidra when I know my nervous system is in need of calming, and when I'm preparing for something that I need to do that I know will take a lot out of me. Calming my nervous system is integral to my overall recovery. Many people with chronic fatigue describe their Yoga Nidra practice as a lifeline, like one of our community members from Insight Timer who said, Ally, your Yoga Nidra meditations have saved my life over these past 2 years, recovering from chronic fatigue. I can't begin to tell you how wonderfully Yoga Nidra's deep rest has revived me from day to day, and it gradually enabled me to get better. I'm so happy when I read these type of healing stories. It's very inspiring. Okay, now I'd love to touch on nervous system dysregulation, which is intertwined with many of the things that we've already talked about. And this is something that so many of us are experiencing today. Our nervous systems are overloaded, stuck in chronic stress responses, and many of us often don't realize how much this impacts digestion, immunity, emotions, and even our relationships. Dysregulation of the nervous system can lead to emotional reactivity, brain fog, inflammation, and sleep disturbance. But through regular practice, Yoga Nidra enhances vagal tone, decreases respiratory rate, and improves heart rate variability. Yoga Nidra has been shown to help regulate the autonomic nervous system, not only through improving vagal tone, but also enhancing GABA production and allowing the body to complete stress cycles that have been left unresolved. In one clinical trial from Nepal, Yoga Nidra significantly reduced LF-HF ratio and increased parasympathetic activity compared to just simply supine rest. The study concluded that Yoga Nidra provides a more effective relaxation response than just passively lying down or having a nap. The result is a more balanced emotional clarity and resilience. Okay, this is another one that is super close to my heart, as I had chronic childhood insomnia and sleep disruption after a few traumatic childhood experiences, including a really devastating house fire when I was 11 years old. And this resulted in pretty acute sleep issues that persisted for many years, well into young adulthood, and as I went off to university, I was still dealing with restless, sleepless nights that was about for over a decade at that point in my life. And insomnia can occur for all different reasons, whether due to stress or hormonal shifts, postpartum changes, or long-term sleep disorders like mine. And insomnia is just a really big challenge for a lot of people. And Yoga Nidra is not technically meant for sleep. However, it provides a way to fall asleep faster, to stay asleep longer, and to wake up more rested. especially when the techniques are modified for the Nidra state, like how I do it, where my guidance and the tools that I use shift in order to take people into the deep sleep state instead of into the Yoga Nidra state, which is that state of deep rest with the trace awareness. I can talk about that in another video, but there's a magic that occurs beyond just sleep. Many people describe feeling more self-compassionate and more accepting of themselves when they use Yoga Nidra for sleep support. And research supports this. One study found that Yoga Nidra improved both sleep efficiency and self-reported measures of self-worth. Yoga Nidra has been studied in both clinical and lab settings for its effect on sleep. And one study on chronic insomnia compared Yoga Nidra to cognitive behavioral therapy, which I love, and found that both groups did improve, but only the Yoga Nidra group saw significant increases in N2 and N3 deep sleep stages. And there were also statistically significant drop in nighttime cortisol, which is wonderfully supportive for those who are experiencing insomnia. I'd love to share a couple of shorter reflections from my channel from those dealing with insomnia, and these are powerful. My husband of 19 years was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer at age 49. After his passing, Yoga Nidra for sleep was the only way I could fall asleep for almost 2 full years. Your voice has become a safe place for me and quite literally saved me during my darkest time. I had a 14-year-old daughter who needed me at the best I could offer, and Yoga Nidra was key for that. And then this one, which brings tears to my eyes every time I read a comment like this. I'm under 10 and I can't fall asleep. So I listen to this every night and it helps so much. Thank you much, and heart and good job. Okay. And lastly, this person shares, nothing has ever helped me sleep like Yoga Nidra. And I haven't had an Ambien in 2 weeks, and I'm ecstatic to be able to sleep without any kind of sleep aid meds. Thank you for making these videos. I'm so happy. Okay. Sorry, those ones with the kids get me. Okay. If you resonate with any of these conditions, I hope that this video gives you some encouragement and reminds you that healing is possible. And along with other care medical professionals and other holistic approaches, these conditions can be supported by resources and practices like Yoga Nidra. This isn't a quick fix. It's a practice of returning to yourself gently and consistently. It helps you regulate from the inside out and becomes not just a tool, but a path. Now, before we close, I want to gently offer a quick note, which is while Yoga Nidra is a powerful and evidence-supported practice, it's not a magic wand. It's not meant to replace professional medical treatment, but rather to support your healing journey. So please always speak with your healthcare provider about what's best for your unique situation, and know that Yoga Nidra can be a beautiful complement to your care, but it's just one piece of a much bigger puzzle, a much bigger picture holistically. So that being said, I want to share one more beautiful and incredible reflection with you. Hopefully I can not cry. This person shares, I've had 3 debilitating chronic illnesses, ME, CFS, FND, and fibromyalgia, which cause severe fatigue, to the point where I use a wheelchair and need help getting dressed, and sometimes can't even lift a fork to feed myself. Multiple daily seizures, full body joint, tendon, nerve, and muscle pain, dizziness, issues controlling my blood sugar, temperature, and blood pressure, frequent heart palpitation even when resting, and other debilitating symptoms daily. I've been doing your meditation daily now for a while and have found significant relief in many of my symptoms. Thanks to being able to rest my nervous system, you have helped me progress in being able to walk further without my wheelchair. I'm able to do more around the house, to make more music and just be more social, thereby improving my relationships despite my illness. You have improved my quality of life so much. sending love and gratitude. That is super inspiring. There are so many stories like this, and it's really mind-blowing to me how much support this practice can provide to people who really need these practices, really need this support. So, if you're already part of our Transformational Sleep Yoga Nidra teacher training, or you're here through the free 5-day deep rest immersion, I'd love to hear what's landing for you here in the comments. What's your biggest takeaway from this video, from all of the beautiful shares that people in our community have posted about their journeys? And if you're not yet part of the deep rest immersion, it's completely free, and I'd love to guide you. Just click the link below and I'll send you daily lessons like this one, along with gentle practices that you can begin using right away to support what you're learning along the way. And if you've experienced firsthand how powerful Yoga Nidra can be, imagine what it could mean to share this gift with others. So, whether you're a yoga teacher, a therapist, a health coach, or simply someone who feels called to hold space for rest and renewal in your community, the Transformational Sleep Yoga Nidra teacher training was designed for people just like you who have that heart of service. It's a trauma-informed, heart-centered program that not only deepens your personal practice so that you can teach from that embodied place, but equips you with the tools to guide others with clarity, confidence, and compassion. I've included reflections from a few of our graduates at the end of this video, and if something in your heart is saying yes, I invite you to explore more. You can visit allyboothroyd.com to learn more and download our comprehensive information package by clicking the link in the description and in the comments or at the end of this video. And you never know whose life you might help change, including your own. So thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in a future video, and until then, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be peaceful, and may you be free. Namaste.